Oh, shit. Oh, yeah. Good morning, Roll Gang.
And welcome on in to this episode of the Weekday WWnB.
Damn straight. We are back in live on this Fuck Yeah Friday, Pot Culture Friday edition of the Weekday Wake and Bake here in Las Vegas, Nevada. I am Processor Cy, joined to you by the beautiful one of the kind, Miss Rachel. How you doing today?
Good. I'm doing good.
Yeah?
Yeah, don't have a coffee this morning, but other than that, I'm doing great.
No, your man has an absolute knot in his stomach. And,
it's Wimbledon, so
yeah.
Makes perfect sense. Sorry, it's just grabbing a water.
A nice water bottle to...
this is such a good brand for water.
Yeah, you've been digging the Pure Life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it actually some pure ass water for sure. Gotta wet that whistle with the cleanest, but yeah, super fucking excited to hear the pop culture stories that Rachel collected this morning while we smoke up a nice little joint. Back live. If this is your first ever show tuning in, what the fuck do we do here on the Weekday Wake and Bake?
Well, every weekday, we come on at 10 a.m. Pacific time, and we either do reviews on cannabis, we talk about news, we do our own version of the news, which is the good news, we talk about cannabis news, and we also talk about pop culture news. So, honestly, you never really know what you're going to get with us. But we are at least consistent, and we are here, and we do our best.
Damn straight. Every weekday morning, 10 a.m. Pacific, you know exactly where to find your favorite Stony newscasters. We are on the Rolling Spoon channel every weekday morning, 10 a.m. Pacific. Today, we got the pop culture news, and we are going to read it off, the latest and greatest, while we smoke a nice joint, because after all, we are blessed to have a woke, so we are blessed to have a smoke. Shout out to all the Roll Gangsters tuning in session with us. We absolutely love to see y'all each weekday morning. If you wouldn't mind popping that heart button wherever you're consuming that content, we would absolutely appreciate that and love the participation from the Roll Gang. The question of the day that we wanted to ask you guys is, what have you been watching recently? Would love to know what the pop culture you've been consuming is, and maybe even give it a try ourselves. We like to have a nice little movie club here on the show, so let us know in the comments section, what have you been watching recently? Whether it's been the Wimbledon or some show on Netflix, would absolutely love your answer. But without further ado, I'm going to finish up rolling this joint real quick while Rachel dives into the first story. How about it?
Yeah, but before we dive into the first story real fast, just want to give a shout out to the sponsors of this show. We have WWnB University, first ever cannabis college, a great place to go get your cannabis knowledge. You can use the promo code ROLLINGSPOON, one word, for 10% off of your tuition. And then, of course, the Rolling Spoon, the handy dandy cannabis multi-tool, helps you seal the deal and roll a dime every single time. But I definitely want to get into our stories today, because I think all three of them definitely have tea to spill within them. So
let's go. Love to hear it.
Yeah, so last Friday I had mentioned about that boy Rudy, who was missing for 8 years and finally found and reconnected with his mother, all of that. Well, it turns out this is actually one of the most horrific, horrible, almost kidnapping stories I've ever heard. So Rudy was apparently, in fact, never even missing. He ran away from his mother for like a couple of days, almost a week at most, and she reported him missing then. But the tea is he came back in that time. And During that time, she had gone to the police and let them know that he was missing because apparently she has some friends within this local police department. So, Rudy comes back to her, and she then takes this opportunity to basically manipulate him and tell him that if the cops find out that he actually came back, he's going to go to jail for his whole life. All of this really messed up stuff that was not even close to being true. Just so that he ends up staying with her for this next 8 years, and absolutely horrific type of situations, like very graphic, but she would make him like play she would literally call it the daddy role and make her fall asleep with her in bed, and she would walk in on him taking showers. You can only imagine some of the other drastic, graphic, horrible things that also happened. And then,
where did this happen? Do you know what state?
I didn't.
Was it like small town, super small town somewhere?
It's not necessarily super small town, but not like really metro, you know.
Not like in the middle of the city,
yeah. I forget exactly where it is, but yeah, and she also like drugged him throughout this time, did a lot of things, horrible medication, locked him in the room, abused him, all of this. So he ended up not actually being missing. And
that's fucking crazy.
Yeah, and the people like realized this was a true story because he would not say a word when his mom was in the room. He would not speak. He would not look at her, not look at anybody. He just wouldn't talk. The moment she walked out of the room, he was like, all right, let's get into it. And like started telling him everything, not afraid, not holding back. So
like major PTSD almost.
Major. But then it gets even worse because these people ended up releasing him back to his mother, and she's currently trying to run away with him.
Oh my God.
So they got their pictures in all the airports, all of this. It's just crazy that they would release him back to his mother, and he is like, he's not of legal age to have a parent, you know? Like
he over 18?
He was kidnapped when he was 7. Kidnapped at 17. So he's in his 20s right now, and currently having his mom
like take his life.
Literally, yeah.
Like really take his life. And honestly, it goes to show you, like, one of my theories is that a 5 out of 10 parent just leaves. You know, those kids that never know their parent, that's a 5 out of 10. And it's really, that's sucks to say, you know. I'm not trying to make it seem better than it is. Like, it sucks to not have a parent, but it's better than this.
Oh,
and you can as parents, you can really ruin your kids. Like, you genuinely have access, not only access, but you're the most valuable person in their life from age 0. So, like, the parents formulate their children's reality. It fully falls on the weight of the parents to make sure the kid has a solid foundation to learn and grow. This is such a destruction of justice.
It's just wrong on so many different levels. But then there's also parts of the story as to like he would be able to go over to his neighbor's house and like hang out with them quite a bit, like for years and stuff. He's been doing that. So
and they didn't even know?
Yeah, they were telling him that it was he was a different name. They were using a different name for him in that situation. But the way that this even like really necessarily came to light is Rudy stole his mom's car and tried to run away, but crashed it. And that's when this whole thing started.
Are there any drugs involved?
Yes.
So his mom was drugging him?
Yes.
Probably a little, if we looked a little deeper into this, I bet we would find a very rapidly growing parental disorder called Munchausen's. And it's basically where a parent, like in this situation, the mom wants to maintain control of their child and therefore are willing to make false medical accusations or think that their child is sick just so that they can have a reason to maintain control. And it kind of just seems like a mom that's way too obsessive and controlling about her child. Fucking mind fuck of a story.
I mean, that's just not even obsessive and controlling of their child. That's just predator, abuser, all these horrible things is what she is.
Yeah.
Like, it's just absolutely a horrible story. And I did see this one comment. Shout out to Bruce Martin, and it says it happens more than we know, and that 100,000% is true. There's thousands, if not millions, of kids in similar circumstances right now that nobody knows about, and that nothing's being done for.
Yep. Which is why I believe that privacy is overrated. I believe in a world with mandated household cameras.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Some people are like, what took the police so long to even necessarily look into the situation? Because there was other reports, like people had made a couple like calls here and there and about seeing him around, knowing that he's been missing. So they like never made house calls or anything, because if they would have obviously found him.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah. So the police department's got some explaining to do along with the mother, who is
just probably didn't want to
straight up monster, in my opinion.
Straight up monster, real life monster. Crazy fucking story about a mom abusing her power to abuse her kid. It's just disgusting, and hopefully we can have a world where we can not have this happen. Mm-hmm. I believe in it, and I know that we can achieve it. It's just
like sad, but you shouldn't even have to hope that something like that doesn't exist. It should literally just be how it is. Parents should not abuse their children.
There's no accountability.
And keep them captive for 8 years and drug them, and yeah, no excuse for that. There's
disgusting.
Like something like that. This is the question. Like people are bringing this up. Does she deserve the death penalty for this?
I'd say yes. So, like, my whole thing is, if you heavily, I'd say the best word would be, if you drastically affect someone's ability to spread love, then you deserve the greatest punishment. You know what I mean? And obviously, she absolutely devastated this kid's chance at life.
Yeah, like he's traumatized now forever.
Forever.
And the guy that's representing him, the activist, is saying like this is going to take years and years of medical professional help in order to help him with his PTSD.
And I don't even think it'd never be normal again. Never be normal again.
Especially now that his name is national news and a lot of people are involved in just this whole situation, and like his name's never gonna be a quiet one, you know?
Yeah. Well, I hope we can help him get back on his feet. Mm-hmm. Crazy fucking story. It'll be a crazy comeback story, but yeah, that's a fire one. What's the next piece we got here on this Pop Culture Friday?
So the next piece of news is coming from Vegas, actually. It happened here in Vegas at the Aria. And it's about Britney Spears. Apparently, Britney Spears was assaulted at the Aria after an NBA player's security guard backhanded her in the face.
Yeah, Wemby. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was fucking crazy. So I heard Wemby's take on it. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you heard. What did you read about it? Sure. So basically, he's the most fluid 7-footer in NBA history is what people are saying. Like, just basically this phenomenon of a NBA player. He was walking into a really nice restaurant and he felt someone grab him from behind on the shoulder. And he didn't know what it was. He was told in the car not to stop moving or a crowd would formulate. So he just kept walking. His security guard, whatever, took care of it, and he got inside. Little did he know that it was Britney Spears that was grabbing him in the shoulder, and his security personnel had no idea who the fuck she was, which is crazy. You gotta know Britney Spears. But the security guard, I mean, if someone touches your detail, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. It's your job. This dude's getting paid to protect Wemby going into a Las Vegas restaurant. You know, people can't just be grabbing him. That's your job to stop it. So, I mean, sucks that Britney got backhanded, but fuck, get your agent to talk. Like,
yeah, I mean, I don't think any situation where hitting or assault is valid, but I do kind of get this situation. Like, this is, especially if that security guard didn't know who she was, and then that brings up a whole other topic. Like, people are like, Britney Spears that's out there now is not the same one that was, you know, like saying that she's not alive. All of this stuff, who knows with the whole Britney Spears situation, but going on the fact that this legit is the same Britney, the one that's been around forever. If you don't know who she is, you must have been under a rock for a very long time. I understand, like, not that, like, aging happens and stuff, but, like, I can understand you forgetting or whatever.
She looks different.
Yeah, but the slapping her in the face, I get protecting your...
Yeah, that's honestly, it was he was just doing his job. And people sometimes suck at their job. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, 100%. And some people, like, take advantage to having those privileges to unleash their anger on people. That's where there's an issue.
Don't give them the opportunity. But I know the security guard was not in the wrong here. You know what I mean? Like,
at least, like, go be like, hi, like, I'm Britney, or I'm Britney Spears, like, or say something. I don't
inside.
know. Yeah.
Go in the crowd. You have your own security detail. I was gonna say,
I'm sure whatever high up room he has access to for his fame, she would have the same access to go in. She's Britney Spears.
Yep. She should have just thought, though, what would happen if somebody grabbed her on the way into the restaurant? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Her security would have backhanded whoever it was in the face. You know, you just can't do that. It is a crazy story, you know.
Crazy.
I'm sure the security guard wouldn't have slapped her if he knew it was fucking Britney.
Yeah, but here's the crazy thing.
Some random bitch grabbing your security detail.
This was Wednesday night. How funny, we were just both working. And Britney Spears was getting slapped on the strip.
Yeah, right down the road, Britney Spears was getting flopped.
Yeah.
Yeah, Britney's had it tough, I will say. Another situation where parents can definitely have a severe negative effect on their children.
Yeah, her story is crazy.
Yeah, you know, I think the moral of these stories is parent better, people. Holy fuck. But yeah, what's the last piece we got? Wait, before the last piece, we have Cali 420 Love in the building. Good morning to Cali 420 Love. Is weed legal there? I want to get my hands on some from Nita 1623. It is legal here in Las Vegas, Nevada. Rachel and I both legally trap the cannabis. We are salesmen of the weed. And saleswoman, of course. Good morning, gang, from Rob Hine, our reigning chat champ. We got Bruce Martin tuning in, all the homies tuning into this show. Gotta love Nita. Nita, right? Shout out Nita, our chat champ of the day, though. Love to see it. What's the last piece of pop culture news on our Pop Culture Friday?
We have one last quick story coming from an airplane. So many of you might have already heard about this story, but it's about a woman who makes a scene and gets off of her flight that's about to take off on American Airlines, talking about how the guy in the back is not real. He's a reptile, something along those lines, and people are like, what is going on? Because all of a sudden she like apparently just walks down in the back. So basically I saw the story from another person's point of view, somebody else who was on the plane, and they were sitting close to this woman and this man. So apparently
this is juicy.
Apparently this woman and this man were having this conversation, but from what he could hear, only the woman was talking. And while she was talking to this man, and apparently he was just like staring straight at her, like nothing else, not talking, just staring straight at her. And she's just like continuing this conversation. He described it as if she was like in hypnosis or like hypnotized by him and just talking and can't stop. And it's crazy, but apparently she just started to get more and more worked up, causing a little bit more and more of a scene. And then flight attendant saw what was going on, came back, tried to calm her down. She sat back down, was starting to calm down, but apparently she just instantly got worked up again, stood up, walked to the front of the plane, was like, that man in the back is not real, this is not real, you're all gonna die. And she leaves the plane. And apparently from this point of view of the other passenger, that passenger had a looking point at this other guy. And he says that this guy did was like wink at me at the end. So, like, then the flight attendant is talking to the guy in the hoodie, like trying to ask him, like, what happened? Why is she causing the scene? Is everything okay? He doesn't say anything to her. Like, he still doesn't speak words. And he just goes, like, like, he doesn't know what was going on or why she was acting like that. So then the situation just calms down for them or whatever, and they're trying to get this flight to be up in the air, send them off. And apparently that other passenger, the one that was telling this side of the story, said that guy, like, smiled at him and winked, but when he looked back on it, his wink wasn't like a normal wink. It was like sideways, like this. Like his eyelids were like that, like how apparently the reptile's eyes are. So apparently there was just this crazy incident on board. Do we know if this was real? Was she just maybe had a little too much to drink or ate a crazy gummy before the flight? Who knows what happened?
I know what happened.
Crazy tea on board of American Airlines.
It is mega tea, for sure. But, like, she was having a manic episode. This dude in the hood was foreign. And the guy making the content is extremely dramatic.
Yeah, but but it's not just coming from that guy's content. Like, other people on board recorded the situation, uploaded it, and it's like blown up into this.
But he didn't blink sideways.
Yeah. I mean, you have no idea. There is videos people have with like showing that the guy in the hoodie, and if you do like the slowing down of the clips, you can kind of see it looks weird when he blinks, but it's also not like in crisp, clear footage, it's zoomed in so much on the back of a little video to show it. So there's not necessarily any proof. The people are just like concerned because there hasn't been a response from this woman. Like normally when situations like this happen, something goes to social media, that person will be like, this is really what happened, or my side of the story. There's been nothing from her.
No, she's manic. She's manic. It's okay. Like, she's okay, Like, it's tough, but like some people just don't have as much of a grasp. I'm sure that the plane took off and landed fine. And I'm sure the dude in the hood does have communication issues and doesn't understand English as well. But yeah, I don't know. I absolutely love the story. I'm super intrigued by it. I'm a natural skeptic, so
yeah, it's just like a fun conspiracy theory going around the internet right now.
Definitely a fun conspiracy theory. And the guy who put together this story definitely did a great job of it, making it, making her side of the story seem more rational. But, if this dude looked funny, hoods are definitely cloaking on camera, but like if a flight attendant's trying to talk with this person, you know, someone's at work having a conversation with a person in a hood, they're a normal person, you know, and
Well, a lot of people on airplanes put their hoods up, you know, just to, like, create their own little space.
yeah,
calm
I'm
down,
one of
relax.
them.
Yeah, I do that
I'm one
too.
of them. And honestly, if I was in France and some bitch was going off to me in French, like just talking at me, and I was just like, oui, oui, you know? And then I got blamed for being a reptile, like, I'd be like, everybody,
Exactly.
like, just sit down, like, everybody, you know?
Yeah.
She was having a major episode, though, and I feel for her. I hope she's doing good, because it's stressful as fuck. Traveling
Traveling is stressful.
the airplane brings out the worst in a lot of people,
Definitely.
me included. But absolutely love all of the Wake and Bakesters, all the Roll Gangsters tuning in to this fabulous Pop Culture Friday episode. Rachel absolutely bringing the juice. Love to see it. And I hope you guys have a great weekend.
Yeah, thank you for tuning in to this week of Weekday Wake and Bakes. We will see you on Monday at 10 a.m. for a Good News Monday. Have a great weekend. See you later.
Later. Love y'all, Roll Gang.
Look at Banks in that.